Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome. Thank you for joining our webinar today on how enterprise businesses use Glassdoor. My name is Nina. I'm an Associate Marketing Manager here at Glassdoor, and I will be your moderator for the day. So a couple of webinar tips for attendees before we get started. Your audio is streaming over the web, so please make sure that your speakers are turned on and turned up to make sure you can hear all the wonderful content we'll be sharing with you today. All lines will be muted to avoid background noise, but you can submit questions at any time by typing them into the Q&A tab in the lower left corner of your window. To be mindful of everybody's time, we will address all Q&A at the end of the presentation, but please feel free to shoot those questions through whenever you may have them. Now I'd like to introduce our amazing speaker for the day. We're joined by Garrett Fitzpatrick, who's an Enterprise Account Executive here at Glassdoor. So without further ado, Garrett, I will let you take it away for us.
Great. Thank you so much, Nina, and thanks for everyone on the line for joining. We've got a short amount of time together today, so I want to make this the most impactful for you all on the line. Quick agenda. We'll go through today's candidates, what we're seeing on our end and what we're hearing from our employers, how we help companies brand and recruit on Glassdoor, and then we'll certainly spend some time live to site on the Glassdoor platform, and as Nina suggested, have Q&A at the end of the presentation here. Just a little bit about me. I've been with Glassdoor for almost 3 years. Some of my customers include Massage Envy, Koch Industries, Avery Dennison, and why I love working at Glassdoor is we're helping candidates find the jobs and companies they love, and also partnering really closely with employers to help them win the war for talent in this very competitive marketplace. So a little bit about what we're seeing here about candidates' behavior. It's no surprise that 83% of recruiters tell us that today's talent market is candidate-driven. As we all know, candidates today have choices, and it's a very competitive landscape. We also know that more than half trust content from employees as a source of information about a company. So very relevant to Glassdoor, candidates are trusting peer reviews, people who know the company best, the people that actually work there, over a recruiter or hiring manager, and 75% churn to peers before making a decision about their own brand. So if you think about how we make decisions in our own personal consumer life, we're using tools like Amazon and TripAdvisor and Yelp, and we're not going to the product or hotel's website to make a decision. We're looking at what are our peers saying about this to influence my decision to make an investment in that product or vacation. And it's really no different with where you go find a job. Some of the things that we're hearing are that candidates' expectations are much higher than they have been in the past. One of the key things that we know is job seekers are craving more information than just the job description. So if you think about how a job board works, they provide candidates with a job description, and that's great. But your job description is not unique or compelling against your competitors, and we know they're craving a lot more information than just that. So one of the key places they go to is obviously Glassdoor, because we provide them with peer reviews, salary information, interview questions, benefits, and obviously employer branding content as well. They also want to hear everyone's perspective. It's great if a candidate has a friend or family member that works for your organization, but the reality is that's not the case for 95% of candidates. So again, they're trusting to the people, or they're going to the people they know best and trust, which are, again, their peers or the people that know the company best who work for the organization. And then lastly, 90% want to work for a company that embraces transparency. They don't demand perfection. No company is perfect, not even Glassdoor, but they do demand some level of transparency about their expectations, career growth, salary, and they get transparency in every other part of their life. Why is that no different with employment? Speaking of transparency, this is a kind of a surprise when I speak to some enterprise customers of mine. This is not Glassdoor's first time bringing transparency to a marketplace. Our founders started Expedia in the late 90s out of Microsoft. If you thought about how you had to book travel before Expedia, you had to call a travel agent. And we could hear the travel agent clicking on the other side of the screen, getting all the information about the hotel, the flights. And we thought, why can't we empower the end user to get that information directly and bring transparency to travel? So now Expedia is the largest travel group in the world. Then we thought about what other big decisions do we make in our life. Well, what about purchasing a home? Before Zillow, you had to call a realtor to get all the information about the house, the mortgage, the neighborhood. And as we all know, now you can go directly onto Zillow and get that information at your fingertips. And then in 2007, we go, what other big decisions do we make in our life? Well, maybe there's a need for more transparency. And where you go to go work is one of the most important decisions you're going to make. So before Glassdoor, you had to go on a career site, talk to a recruiter or hiring manager to get all the information about the organization. Now Glassdoor is a leading platform to get really true insight to what it's like to work for the company before you even apply for the opportunity. So a little bit about Glassdoor's value. One of the things that we're the most excited about is at the top of the screen here. We are now the second largest job site in the U.S. So what we're measuring that by is monthly unique visits to our platform. We've surpassed some of the more traditional job boards like Monster and Career Builder, and we're behind Indeed as it relates to overall traffic. You can see our user base is 34 million unique users. That's a global number. We are in 190 countries, so if you are hiring in outside of the U.S. or North America, there's certainly solutions and audiences on Glassdoor for you. And there's about 600,000 companies on Glassdoor that have some type of representation, obviously your company being one of them. The thing that I love the most about Glassdoor is this is a very targeted approach. This isn't a post a job and pray the right candidate comes along. We have really deep insights into who our audience is. So you can see down below some of our demographics, evenly split between male and females. Almost 70% of our users have a college education level, so really educated audience. Age range, we do really well with millennials, and this, ideal class of 35 to 55-year-olds, which is, the future or current state of your organization, and people that have vast amounts of experience. But we use the data that they provide to our site, so the content, we use their IP address, and we use their job seeker profile to make sure that we get your brand and jobs in front of your ideal candidate. At the end of the day, we do not want to provide our candidate or our employer partners with volumes of applications. We're more focused on quality here at Glassdoor, and that's what we're hearing from employers is what they're focused on as well. Our audience is a very active network, so very different from maybe a LinkedIn network where it's a very passive audience. 89% of our users are actively looking or open for better opportunities. These people are trying to be more informed, learn more about your brand, learn more about your culture than ever before, and they're getting that information directly on our platform. So it's a very active audience, so clearly this is a place where you want to be sponsoring some of your open roles and promoting your brand because these people are ready to make decisions. This is really the last slide about what we're seeing with the candidate journey, and I think it's really important. Glassdoor is very different from a lot of the other platforms out there. We are going to impact your candidate's decision process or your candidate's decisions throughout the entire process. So what do we mean by that? There's really 5 stages of the candidate journey that we talk about, and the first one's awareness. And this is your opportunity to build more brand awareness and get your jobs in front of the right candidates on Glassdoor and other platforms as well. Wherever you guys find the most value in advertising your jobs, that's where they're helping you in the awareness phase. Where Glassdoor is different is we're going to help you in the awareness phase, but we're going to be the only company that's going to help you guys influence candidates past that phase. So if they're going to consider working for you, they're coming on the Glassdoor and they're looking at reviews and your CEO approval and salaries and benefits. If they decide to come in for an interview, they're coming back on the Glassdoor to prepare for their interview, to look at content from candidates who have already interviewed at your company. What was the process like? What kind of questions? Was it easy, difficult? So they can be more informed and more engaged when they come meet with the hiring manager. If you do decide to give them an offer, we know they're coming back on the Glassdoor to look at salary and benefit information to make sure it's in line with their expectations. And lastly, if you do get a hire, they most likely go back on the Glassdoor and they'll leave a review on what it's like to work for the company or what the interview process was like. There's zero reason a candidate would ever go back to a job board past the awareness phase because they just don't get any value there. That's, again, where we're impacting your candidates throughout the entire process here. So a lot of employers that I speak with goes, hey, Garrett, this sounds great. How do you guys actually partner with enterprise companies? And I just wanted to quickly outline our solutions here, and then we'll go live the site and show you them kind of real time. The first one's called job advertising. So I talked about the 34 million unique users that come here every month. 52% of that audience is coming on the Glassdoor and doing a job search. So, they're not looking at a company, they're not looking at salaries, they're actually coming on here to look at new job opportunities. And this is an opportunity for employers to get your jobs up in front of the right candidates when they're doing that search. So like a job board, your jobs will show up high in the search results, but there's also a lot of unique behaviors that candidates do on Glassdoor where we can get your jobs in front of them. For example, if I'm a registered nurse and I'm looking at salaries in Dallas, Texas, what a great opportunity for an employer who's hiring nurses in Dallas, Texas to get one of your jobs up in front of that candidate. It's the same thing if they're reviewing maybe a competitor's profile who's not a partner of Glassdoor. It's a great opportunity to get those nursing roles up in front of your competitors' candidates. And really the value that we're seeing there is 2 times better applicant quality, and we measure that by our customers' ATS, application to hire ratio data. It takes about half as many resumes to get a hire from Glassdoor than some of the more traditional job boards. The second solution is called the Enhanced Profile. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's the opportunity to enhance your presence on Glassdoor. What that means is you as an employer have a unique opportunity to influence candidates with your unique employer value proposition, get all of your content, get your jobs up in front of candidates, and influence them that you are the place that they should apply and come work for. And then lastly is display advertising. So instead of advertising one of your open jobs, you have an opportunity to advertise a particular hiring initiative in front of a very targeted audience on Glassdoor. I have a healthcare partner of mine in the Pacific Northwest who says, hey, we just need to create more awareness with our brand in front of candidates in the healthcare industry. So they created a display ad that would resonate with someone in healthcare, and anytime someone in the Pacific Northwest who has a healthcare background logs on the Glassdoor, that display ad is being shown in front of that particular audience, and we drive those candidates back to their career site. So again, it's an opportunity to create more awareness with a very particular group. We see customers use this in diversity and inclusion initiatives, gender initiatives, veteran hiring. Again, we want to get your brand in front of a very particular group on Glassdoor. And then lastly, our advanced analytics. This comes with the Enhanced Profile product, and this is very unique to Glassdoor. So my customers love this data because it's data about their brand. This is sentiment about what are your employees saying about what's good and bad working for the company. What are your candidates saying about your interview process? How do you stack up and benchmark against your competitors? Maybe why are you losing talent? So I'll pause there, and I'm going to let Nina now go live the site so we can kind of make this real for you all. And just bear with us for a second as we share our screen here. And hopefully everyone can now see the Google search here. So a lot of customers ask us, hey Garrett, how are our candidates finding out about Glassdoor and how are they finding us? Well, one of the key things is search engine optimization. 70% of today's candidates start their career search on Google. And this is Hallmark, which is obviously the greeting card company based out of Kansas City, Missouri. And if I was a candidate and I typed in Hallmark jobs on Google, you'll notice that Glassdoor is the first result. This is not paid sponsored advertising for Glassdoor. This is Google rewarding us because our content is really relevant to today's job seekers, and they feel like, hey, this is going to be really relevant for a candidate. So Google's actually created this little widget now that's actually showcasing jobs for Hallmark directly in the Google search. So a big win for Glassdoor and a big win for employers who are leveraging this. So this is Hallmark's account. This is a free employer account, so that they are not currently a paid partner. So I wanted to walk you through what their profile looks like versus one of our partner profiles, which is again called the Enhanced Profile. So if I'm a candidate and I want to learn more about Hallmark on Glassdoor, this is the experience I get today. You'll notice there's a little Hallmark overview. Every company has the opportunity to make sure that information's correct. But what you'll notice is Hallmark reviews and ratings are front and center. It's the first thing a candidate sees about the Hallmark brand. Good thing for Hallmark, most of their ratings are above average, but the only opportunity for a candidate to learn more about what it's like to work at Hallmark is to look at reviews. And we know today's candidates look between 4 to 7 reviews to make an informed opinion about a brand. We think there's a huge opportunity for Hallmark to tell candidates and be the first to market in front of them on why they should come work here. So that's not happening today, and really the employer brand is being defined by Hallmark's current and former employees. We obviously want that to start with the employer. As we scroll down, you'll notice there's some Hallmark photos, and there's also some Hallmark interview reviews. But what you'll notice is, on the right-hand side, there's some of our products working. This discovery starts here by Samsung. This is a third-party display app. This is Samsung saying, hey, we want to get in front of more candidates in the Bay Area in sales. Well, I'm in the Bay Area. I'm in sales. This is a really relevant display ad to me. And then you'll notice these jobs you may like on the right-hand side, these aren't Hallmark's jobs. These are, again, our paid partners who are saying, hey, we want to get in front of our ideal candidate, which is account executives in the Bay Area. Again, I'm Garrett Fitzpatrick. I'm in the Bay Area. I'm in sales. These jobs are really intriguing and interesting to me, and I might click on one of these jobs even though I came to Hallmark. So again, the jobs and the display are not targeted based on the competitor, but really based on the actual candidate researching them. So again, if you're trying to hire nurses in Dallas, these jobs would more likely be nursing in Dallas jobs. And then as we scroll down to the very bottom, this is one of our enhanced profile solutions called Targeted Companies. Companies have the opportunity to target up to 5 of their competitors, assuming they're a non-Glassdoor partner. Because again, once you have the enhanced profile, you lock down your page, and I'll show you what that looks like. But Crossmark, L&R Distributors, Sprint, these are some of the companies saying, hey, we would love to get in front of Hallmark's candidates, and they've chosen them as one of the targeted competitors that they want to promote their brand and jobs directly in front of. I want to now show you what the difference looks like with the enhanced profile. If you can all see my screen, this is one of my favorite partners I work with, which is Columbia Sportswear. They're based out of the Pacific Northwest, and they obviously do manufacturing and retail. So Columbia Sportswear is saying, hey, we have a ton of candidates visiting our Glassdoor profile page. We want to leverage that traffic and promote our employer brand in front of these candidates. So you'll notice they have this nice cover logo up top. They've got an embedded video that talks a little bit about the Portland area and a little insight into their culture. As we scroll down on the profile, the big thing you'll notice is the reviews and ratings are no longer there. Those have been dropped down to the very bottom of the profile because Columbia Sportswear wants to own their employer branding story and get that content directly in front of candidates. So they're participating in our company updates feature, which is essentially updating their talent community on what's going on in the organization. They're promoting some of their internal career videos directly in front of their candidates to talk a little bit about some of the exciting programs they've got going on. And then lastly, they've got the Why Work For Us section. This is your opportunity to talk to candidates on what makes you unique. Why should candidates come work for Columbia Sportswear? And they're highlighting 5 of their key initiatives. So their careers, their benefits, their responsibility, and giving back. They think that makes them unique versus Adidas and Nike and some of their competitors in their backyard. These 5 tabs are fully customizable. Our employer partners own this area, and it's very dynamic. Unlike a career site, you can come in here and make changes at any time based on some of the hiring and branding initiatives that you have inside the company. Then the last thing I'll show you down at the bottom is reviews and ratings never go away. That's obviously a key driver of what brings candidates to our platform, but again, it's dropped down to the very bottom, and Columbia Sportswear has an opportunity to feature a very positive review on their homepage, obviously to make it a very Columbia Sportswear positive environment. And then lastly, from a recruiting perspective, if we scroll back up to the top of the page, you'll notice there's 0 opportunity for any other companies to advertise their brand or jobs, and now all of Columbia Sportswear jobs are being showcased directly in front of the candidate, again, targeted to that candidate based on their profile, their click behavior, and their IP address. Lastly, due to client sensitivity, I can't show you Columbia Sportswear's data, So I'm going to pop into the Employer Center of Glassdoor, and this is what the analytics look like for our employer partners. So one of the key things that we look at is, hey, how much traffic is actually coming to your Glassdoor profile? This is obviously Glassdoor's data, and we have a tremendous amount of candidates looking at us. But with your free employer account, you can log in today to see how many candidates are thinking about our brand on Glassdoor, and you'll be very surprised on the amount of traffic that you're seeing there. We also break down what type of candidates are researching your organization. Again, we're pulling all this data from our job seeker profiles so we can really showcase, hey, are these the right type of candidates that you're trying to get in front of? What other companies are they thinking of? What job titles are they looking at the most in the top locations? The last thing I'll show you before we kind of stop for Q&A is one of my favorite reports and my customers' favorite reports, which is ratings by location. If you have multiple locations, this is a huge opportunity to identify, hey, are there certain offices or groups on Glassdoor or internally that are telling us, hey, this is a great place to work, or maybe there's some areas that are struggling. And it really helps you guys hone in on, you know, what locations are doing well, what job titles are doing well, and then again, how does this benchmark against your competitors? All these reports are able to export into Excel, and you can also print into PDF. Really, really different data that you'd be getting from any other job board. This is data talking about your brand, your company, from, again, the people that know it best, the actual employees of the organization.
All right, thank you, Garrett. So now everyone should be able to see, we're back in the slide deck. So as Garrett mentioned, we will open up the floor to Q&A. So if you have not submitted your question, please do so now. And for all of you that did ask, we will be sending out the recording post-webinar. So just be on the lookout for an email from our marketing team for that. You should receive it in about 24 hours. All right, so the first question that we have from the audience is regarding pricing. So you mentioned a couple different features. What pricing factors go into the different packages?
Yeah, that's a great question, Nina. This isn't a one-size-fits-all. So there are customized solutions based on really your needs. We're not in the business of selling solutions that aren't going to impact your business. So that really is determined by a conversation that you'd have with your Glassdoor representative, determine what solutions are going to make the most sense for you guys to hit your hiring and branding initiatives, and then they would put together a customized package for you.
Great, thank you. The next question we have in the line is, can you please expand on the ways that you can manage your reputation, which is something that was mentioned in one of the first slides?
Yeah. So reputation management is a key component of Glassdoor. That's really used in the analytics feature where we can start diving deep into what's being said about the organization and really how your reputation stacks up against your competitors. Unfortunately, we didn't have time today. But in the Employer Center, you can see how your reputation stacks up against any of your key competitors in your market. And we break this down by, comp and benefits, senior leadership, CEO approval. So a lot of key areas where you can really understand how you're being represented in the market. And I would say if you feel like, hey, our brand is not accurately being represented on Glassdoor, there's a huge opportunity to do what we call employee engagement campaigns. Don't have enough time today to talk about it, but certainly reach out to your rep on what employee engagement campaigns are. It's a great strategy that a lot of our customers are using.
Great, thank you. The next question that we have is kind of a broader scope, and how do you go about responding to the reviews that are on your Glassdoor page?
Yeah, great question. So even without being a partner, we feel like every employer has an opportunity to have a voice in the reviews. So you can respond to any review on Glassdoor. We certainly have a lot of best practices and templates to help you. But for me, it's you're not responding to every review. We just don't have the time or resources to do that. So a goal for a lot of my customers are, hey, let's respond to 6 reviews this month. How about 6 not so favorable reviews and then 6 positive reviews? Don't always feel like you're defending yourself, and really respond to positive ones to highlight what you guys are doing really well. Why this helps you is it goes a long way for candidates who are researching you and they see maybe a not so favorable review, but the employer has taken the time, the thoughtfulness to read it, understand it, and make an informed response. That goes a long way for candidates.
Great, thank you. The next question we have in the line is, you mentioned your job ads product. Can you shed a little bit more light onto how that works in comparison to, say, another job board?
Sure. So one of the things that makes our jobs product much, much different than a job board is going back to what a job board, job ads provides a candidate, and it's typically just the job description. With Glassdoor, we provide the job description, but we also wrap around all of your employer branding content, so all of your company videos, your Why Work For Us section, your featured review, and then we also wrap around all the user-generated content coming from your employees. So let's say a candidate never even made it to your profile, they're still going to have a really informed, educated opinion about your company because we wrap all the other content unique to Glassdoor around the actual job. And then again, at the end of the day, we're more focused on quality of applicants. And again, if you think about, I know the salary, I know the culture, I know the CEO approval, I know what my peers are saying, it tends to be a much higher quality candidate than someone who just read a job description on a job board.
Great, thank you. Another question that we have in the line is, can you speak a little bit more about the racial demographics of job seekers that are actually using Glassdoor?
Yeah, so a very diverse audience on Glassdoor. We're not blue collar, we're not white collar. It's really anyone who wants to be more informed and educated. We do have specific demographic breakdowns for Glassdoor, so reach out to your rep and they can get that report over to you. But I think more impactful is for employers themselves in the Employer Center under candidate demographics, we actually will show you the type of candidates researching your company specifically. So it's just much more relevant when you see, hey, you know, what kind of gender breakup are researching our company? Do we need to make a shift in that model or a shift in that audience? And again, Glassdoor has some solutions to help you there.
Great. So it looks like those are all the questions that we have for everybody today. As you can see on the screen, if you have any additional questions that we did not get to, please email us at employers@glassdoor.com, and we can go ahead and get you in touch with any of your reps. So it looks like we do actually have one more question that just came through. So the question is, does the free employer account receive demographics specific to their company page?
Yes, they do. So with the free employer account, you can get some basic analytics, how many people are visiting your page, you know, the demographics, but like the ratings by location, the competitor comparison charts, that's all part of the enhanced profile solution.
Great. And with all of that, unless there are any other questions on the line, you'll give everyone about 2 minutes back in their day. Thank you to everyone for joining us, and thank you, Garrett, for sharing all of your wonderful knowledge with us today. And to everyone, we will catch you next time. Thank you.
Thanks, Nina.